Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day I wish to all of you. Welcome to our forum that we talk and discuss about the place that we like to preserve. The place we will talk about is Kellie's Castle. My name is Nur Ain binti April. I will be serving as your moderator today. You'll be hearing presentation from three panelists on this very timely subject. But before we proceed our forum, I wanted to take a few minutes of your time for knowing each of our panel. Introduce the first panel is Mr. Muhammad Faris bin Khairul Azwan. Second panel is Ms. Nabila binti Mumin. And the last panel is Mr. Muhammad Shabil bin Sukri. At first, I will explain a little bit about this Kellie's Castle. Kellie's Castle is located in Batu Gajah Kinta district, Perak, Malaysia. The unfinished ruined mansion was built by a Scottish planter named William Kellie Smith. He built the building for his beloved wife, and the building structure Sam reason point as a symbol of love. When Smith began planning the construction of a huge castle, because of his fascination of the Hindu religion in India, he incorporated much of the elements into his new home. Brick and tiles were imported from India. He even enlisted the help of 70 Indian workers from Madras of South India as skilled laborers for the construction of the mansion. Unfortunately, he ran into one major setback. Many of the workers contracted the Spanish flu and died in the early 1920s. World War I slowed the process even more. In the end, Kellie's Castle was never complete, and now the mansion was managed the property as tourist attraction. Now, moving along to our session, I will ask a question to our first panel, that is Mr. Muhammad Faris bin Khairul Azwan. Mr. Faris, I would like to ask you about how historical tourist attraction promoted in Malaysia.
Thank you, Moderator Nur Ain, for the question. Before answering the question, may I story about Kellie Castle. Kellie Castle is the city place located in the side road of the Simpang Pulai to Batu Gajah, Perak. Kellie Castle House or Kellie House was built in 1905 by a famous Scottish rubber farmer. Name is William Kellie Smith. The three-story building was built according to the design of Moghul Place in the India city of Angra. The builders of the building was specialists brought from Madras. The building was 40 rooms, a basement, and the secret tunnel into is also equipped with the first elevator built in Malaya. On the second floor, a tennis court with a cement floor will be built. For answer the question, first, for the interest of the local tourists or foreign tourists, the government can produce investment or digital content that interact local or foreign community to visit the country. The latest method used most countries is to sponsor celebrity to travel to Malaysia, and historic place also interact their fans to participate. The Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture can bring together the best local creative production and marketing agency to produce experiential tourist campaign and witness every audience both domestically and internationally. In addition, one of the measures to promote the country history tourist sector is to hold a Malaysia Year campaign more effective and invite more participants. Visit Malaysia Year is a campaign to encourage tourists to come to our country in the greatest number. The campaign held throughout the year provided a vibrant event to interact tourists to come to the country and visit historic place. For example, vibrant multi-race culture event are presented for tourists, and tourists can come to our museum like Museum Perak, Museum Negara, and more museum. And then museum must do our event and interact local and local tourism. And
Thank you, Mr. Faris, for the explanation. You strongly have a thoughtful idea to attract tourists. Another question is, how long does it take to preserve the Kelly's castle? Can you answer me, Mr. Faris?
preserving the Kellie Castle, I read the article from internet. The safe building has been agreed by the Perak government to make it history building to attract more tourism. To preserving the Kellie Castle is take time because we must clear the trash and must clean that place to attract tourists. Perak government they also provided public facility such as surau, toilet, and sell stall. As we ask cafe to provide comfort to visitors who come. And Perak government give comfort to tourists to come and see the greatest building in Perak. We need to know that Kellie Castle is an old building, so to make any addition or repair this is too dangerous and need carefully security to ensure every inch of building is not damaged while carry out restoration activity.
Oh, I see. So it was never taken too long to preserve the mansion. I hope that the mansion will be preserved in a better way in the future. Thank you again, Mr. Faris. Now let's move to our next panel, that is Miss Nabila binti Mumin. Miss Nabila, can you please explain to us why should we preserve the Kelly's castle?
Okay, my name is Nabila binti Mumin, metric number C20A1152. First of all, why we should preserve Kellie Castle is because Kellie Castle is a historic building that was developed by leading rubber farmer in Scotland named William Kellie Smith in 1905. At first, it was called as Kellie House, and after the birth of his son Anthony in 1915, William wanted to grow his house into a castle and named it as Kellie Castle. This three-story building was built according to the design of a castle in the Mogul, and William also brought a large number of Indian laborers. The building also has many uniqueness, where the building has a total of 14 rooms, basement, secret tunnel equipped with the elevators. Not only that, Kellie Castle also need to be preserved because it is a national economic resource, where it has been used as a place for tourist activities, and it has also been done as a place for filming dramas such as Anna and the King.
My goodness, that was a really impressive reason for society to keep preserve the place. Thank you, Miss Nabila. But before we move to the last panel, I have another question for Miss Nabila. For your opinion, what are the steps taken to protect the place?
Okay, the first step that we must to be taken to protect the Kelly Castle is when visiting the place is do not destructive the various facilities available there. For example, uh, doing the vandalism by scratching the wall of the building. Next, as a tourist who come to visit Kelly Castle, we must keep the place clean by not throwing trash in the area so that place is always clean of garbage. Last but not least, when coming there as a tourist or locals, we should not change the structure or anything in the building, such as changing the layout of the furniture in the building. Thank you.
Thanks once again, Miss Nabila. Without further ado, I would like to move to the final panel, that is Mr. Muhammad Shabil. Mr. Shabil, why it is important to protect archaeological sites?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Marshall Shukri. Thank you for my moderator and my friend Narain Vidyapri. What is important to protect archaeology sites? The first, to maintain the identity of the country, because if we continue to take care of heritage building, it can be a symbol of national pride or the history of our country to be learned by the young people in our time. For example, Kellie Place in Perak, Batu Gajah, is a lasting history of a man named William Kellie Smith of Scotland who came to Malaysia in 1890.
Very interesting reason to keep the archaeological sites stay safe and preserved. Well, Mr. Shabil, let's move to the next question. What about how do we educate our children on heritage preservation?
How do we educate our children about heritage preservation? The way to educate children about heritage preservation should be nurtured about the importance of Malaysian history at a school level. For example, at school level, the history subject is important and need to pass so they will learn properly about history in Malaysia. And my second point is parents also need to play role by always telling story about the history of Malaysia, which once colonized by the British, Netherlands, and Portuguese. Parents should also always take their children on holiday to a critical place such as the Kellie place in a Perak so they can clearly see the heritage building in Malaysia.
I also think that they are the way to protect the archaeological site, that is creating the subject construction of historical place in every education institute. For example, such as heritage conservation subject. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Shabil.